What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Big Talk, where we teach people want people to believe in themselves, inspire others, and grow on a daily basis, both mentally and physically. So today we have the ladies in the house, and you know, my wonderful daughter Monika just turned 18, so now she can talk about these adult things.
Now she can talk about it.
Yeah, now she can talk about it. She's going to Rider College in the fall, and she's doing her thing. We're getting ready for the Teenage Nationals here in a couple. We got how many weeks we got?
18.
18 weeks to go. So not quite in the grind mode yet, but every day counts. So we are lifting consistently, learning how to eat again, and getting everything together so we can win this Teenage Nationals, which I guarantee we're going to do that. So make me a profit. And then we have my trainer over here, my partner in crime on a daily basis here at Above and Beyond Physiques. She's doing her thing on online training and doing her thing helping me with all my clients. Emily Cason here today. She's doing her first show in how long?
How long are you out? I'm going to probably do 16.
Okay, so see, this is the first problem. If you get ready for a show, you gotta know how much time you got. But
I said October. She said
says,
Big Cat, I said okay.
All right, well, okay, so.
The weeks.
Yeah, 16 weeks. So you got to know these things, because what ends up happening is you go, man, I got 16 weeks, and then you turn around, you're like, I got 9 weeks. And you're like, oh shit, I'm still there, you know.
Yeah.
So, but she's getting ready for her first show that got derailed because of quarantine. And then Chelsea is our VP. She's and she's also a wonderful mom. Her daughter Viv's doing her thing. So, you know, she's what's her name again? Emily. You know, she has her daughter Viv, and she's doing a great job there. So, kudos to her. Single mom life is nothing easy. Everyone knows that. So, super impressive. And I will say, being a business owner for so many years, when you find somebody who is super reliable and good, you are lucky. So thank you for being that person.
You're welcome.
And then we have, what are you doing, bro?
They cannot see this. Just keep talking.
Okay. And then we have Chelsea over here, who she works 1,000 hours for my business partner, Chuck. She works 1,000 hours for us, so I don't know how she fits it all in. She's an amazing dance teacher. She's going to win her show this year. She's doing wellness and figure. So we tried to fit her into bikini, and, you know, we were denying all that muscle, so we have to put her into figure and physique, which I'm wellness, which I'm super excited about. I think you're going to do an amazing job this year for us, and I think we're going to have some potential pros in the house, you know. So super excited about that. And Chelsea, if she didn't do what she did, big sports would not be growing the way it is. So thank you for that. And then there's me. No, I'm kidding. You got Rashaad Evans in the house. Rashaad Scott. My fault.
They're really gonna. So you know we're gonna get to the point where it's actually just audio. And when they hear Rashaad Evans, they'll be like, "Oh, Rashaad Evans is on there." They'll be like, "Wait, why is he on the bodybuilding podcast?"
Yeah.
So you're gonna really confuse a lot of people.
I wouldn't consider it a bodybuilding podcast. It's more like, you know, we're
Barbershop
entrepreneurs. We have a good time. We talk about social issues. We're dealing with parenting. We're dealing with all types of stuff, man. So, you know, we're just a life podcast that happens to be run by fitness professionals, right? Mm-hmm. And then I happen to be an awesome bodybuilder, so it just kind of works out that way, you know.
I guess.
But you know, the man with the red shoes here,
actually,
trainer of the year for Above and Beyond Physiques. Let me finish my.
Go ahead.
And then also leading the sales drive for Big Sports as well. So kudos to you. Boom. And then, you know, of course, I'm just a proud dad because both my kids are teaching me. Well, all four are great, but the two girls are teaching me.
That's horrible.
It's true, you know.
I love it.
My two girls are teaching me so much, man. Like, you know, Monika taught me something when I was on the beach in 2017. Monika said, "I want to die, Dad." And we went to the doctors that year, and she said, she got on the scale, she was like 160 something. She's like, "Why is no one telling me I'm fat?" I was like, "'Cause you're not fat." She's like, 160 something, ain't skinny. I was like, you're not fat, right? You know, and I was like, are you thicker than some girls? Yeah, but you're not fat. She was like, well, I want to lose weight. Give me a diet. I'm like, I don't want to give her a diet. You know, because I don't believe in putting kids on diets. Just be active, try and eat a little healthier. I need a diet. I need to know what I'm following. I need a diet. I kept saying I need a diet. So finally I gave in and gave her a diet. So she was so committed to this diet that we were on the beach, and I'm sitting there looking at my fish, like I'm contemplating, I really don't want to eat this fish because it's cold, we're on the beach, fish and sand don't really go together, you know, so it's just not an appealing process. And then she whips out, was it tuna?
Yeah.
Yeah, she whips out a packet of tuna, no mayo, no nothing, starts eating it on the beach. I was like, damn, she can eat that. Why am I sitting over here thinking about cheating with a protein shake? And then let me go ahead and eat my fish, right? So in that moment, though, important lesson, it's not about what we want to do, it's about what needs to be done. It's not about doing what's the most convenient, it's about doing what needs to be done. And it's definitely not about taking shortcuts. Because a lot of times when we're content dieting, we rationalize, right? We rationalize. Oh, well, you know, I don't feel like doing fish, egg whites is a protein. I don't feel like doing fish, my protein shake's a protein, but it's not the same. Body assimilates it differently. So in that moment, I was going to make that adjustment, and then her sticking to her plan, I was like, you know what? Let me stick to my plan. And that ended up being like a really, really good prep for me. And then this morning, I'm looking at my daughter, and she's going to ride down in Salisbury, so she's got to get up at like 4 o'clock this morning. And she's smiling, she's happy. I'm like, man, you really don't want, you really don't mind getting up. I'm going to ride today. I'm going to ride today. And it's what I preach all the time. I'm like, if you do what you truly love to do, it's never work. It's never work. Like, coming out of quarantine, I was kind of like, I don't really want to go back. But one day in here, and I'm like, I can't wait to get back to the gym every day, you know? So, yeah. I just took up all that time. But I thought these were good stories, right? So, what's up, man?
All I was going to say was I bought some shoes the other day, so I was going to wait for today. Like, guess what, bitch? I ain't got red shoes on, but then they were too big, so I had to send them back. And then we were supposed to do it at your house, and I was going to do it with no shoes. I'm like, bitch, I ain't got no shoes on, so what are you going to talk about? So all this just got ruined today. But that's all I was going to say is I bought some shoes specifically for this.
That's awesome.
But,
that's awesome. Yeah. But instead you forgot the memory card. So when
did.
you're at the office and send it down.
Hey, here we are.
Still making it work.
Got it. So, Chelsea, what got you into lifting?
I guess just, you know, being used to being a dancer all the time and always being active. And then when I wasn't in school anymore dancing all the time, I just wanted to stay active, stay healthy, and just going to the gym was what was easy and convenient for me at the time. And then I just started to really like it, and then I found you, and it's become a whole different type of lifting.
Got it. So was it intimidating to come into a gym, like a bodybuilding style gym at first? Or no big deal?
I mean, yeah, I would say yes. Like, the first time walking in here, I wasn't super intimidated because I don't think I knew enough about it to be intimidated. And then once I started to like just kind of be in this world, yes, the gym was intimidating. Probably until like a week ago when I started coming here.
A week ago?
A week ago? We were here for like 2 years, right?
You don't compete
You don't
compete in everything.
You did like, you and Matt worked that twice or, okay, probably twice. But still.
Damn.
Wow. So what do you think, what's the factor? What's the intimidating factor here? Versus like a YMCA or a Retro or something like that. Well, Retro is not in business anymore, so I guess.
Well, the one is.
The one?
The one on
Which
Urban
one?
Highway. That's the one I see it.
Oh, I heard that was like not doing so well though.
I mean, none of them were really doing that well.
Yeah.
I don't know why though. I mean, I don't know. Well, that's another subject we can get back to. But
I want to talk about it now.
oh, okay. Well,
No, I'm
hold your thought. No, well, I know the one down the street from us. When this previous manager was here, she was saying how the manager there, this is what, last year, saying that their business was doing so bad that they would, when the members wanted to cancel their membership, they say you could pay whatever you want. So essentially, you could pay $1 a month for your membership. So, yeah, so that's and then. But I think LA opened across the street from them, really hurt them, and then Edge opened up, really hurt them. Because I used to go there before I came here. It wasn't a bad gym, but it's just like the competition, and they treat the people really bad. Because I heard it got progressively worse. I had a client call me looking for training here. He said he goes to Retro, and he was saying, yeah, I just hate everything about that. I was like, well, it can't be that bad. I used to go there. He said, well, they close the bathrooms from 4 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. throughout the week to clean them. And why would you close it at the most busiest time where people have to come and change about that? And then he said people have started getting aggressive there for no reason. Because he told me, I was just like, I don't believe it, but I kind of do. He said, the guy said he wanted to use the leg curls. And the guy was on there. He said, hey, can I work in with you? You ask here. Nobody cares. Like, yeah, man, I only got a few sets left or whatever. I just got started. Nobody really cares here. But he got on there. He's like, you know what? Just messed up my whole set. Just take it. And walked off. But just like, are you serious? And then he said after it was all said and done, he went in the locker room to change or whatever. And the guy that he interrupted, he's like, if you see me on the machine ever again, do not bother me. Wow. And then walked out. I was like, what? And I was like, wow. I was just like, are you serious? And I was like, and then I just heard other stuff about it too. But I was like, yeah, I guess that would be a reason to not go there.
Yeah, but that's not like management.
That's not their fault. But if you let that toxicity
in the environment happen,
and along with the competition around here, then it's going to slowly progress. And that's, I'm assuming, why they closed down. Because like Gary told me that they were going to close down and turn into a different name gym, like an Extreme Fitness or something like that. But then COVID happened, and then they couldn't even afford to do that. They just shut down completely.
Yeah. I know. I went to a Thomas Plummer. He consults gyms. I went there in like 2004. Yes, I'm dating myself, but he was saying that if you're not a niche, you can't be a middle of the road gym anymore and do well. Because like if I'm charging, what do they charge, $20 a month?
Yeah.
Right, which kind of tells you our industry, because every other industry is more expensive every year you're doing it. In our industry, it's like Planet Fitness came in and just set the bar at low. I'm going to give you maximum value for minimal money. You know, all the treadmills you want, the best selectorized equipment you can use for $10 a month.
Reminds me of like a Bally's.
Right, but I think Bally's wasn't $10 or $9 a month.
Hey, I don't remember how much it was, but like when I would go to my mom, like the setup.
Yeah, but I'm like so they're giving you, but Bally's was like $50, $60 a month though. See what I'm saying? So like when you take that and you go, okay, well why would I pay more than that for a gym that's similar? And now, so what's LA? LA Fitness charges regular prices, like $50-something a month. But they have the pool, they have the saunas, they can play basketball. I mean, that's amazing how many guys love to go play basketball there, you know. And they have double the equipment of Retro, you know, and everything's wide open.
Yeah.
Super wide open, right? Bigger. So that's how they distinguish themselves. And then you have Edge, $10 a month is a possibility there.
Is it?
Yeah, $10 a month if you don't want any extra, the in-body scans and all stuff. But then you can add everything up and put, so you can be like $40 a month. So you have to have some sort of niche. Like here, we're always safe because you can't lift anywhere else like you can lift here.
It's literally nowhere. The only gym that was close to us was a place near me.
A Total
Fitness, yeah.
Total Fitness, which used to be a Gold's.
Yeah, they got shut down. So that's the only, like in Newcastle County, if somebody tells me about it.
Didn't Frank Cherno die?
Who?
The son of Cherno? I think he died. I think he had a heart attack.
I mean, somebody has a phone, they go.
Yeah, I think he died, and he used to be the owner of that gym.
Okay.
What was his name?
Frank Cherno. Because his father, I think, is part owner of the Concord Mall. And and they own that whole shopping center, and their son just had that gym in there, so it really didn't matter whether they did well or not because his son was just in there. Whether he paid rent was kind of irrelevant. But he actually was in that gym, and they never really did much of anything to change it. Yet it was still like a hardcore area, so they rivaled with us. But other than these two spots, there's really nothing.
I couldn't tell you.
Really nothing else going on I mean, you're going to go and walk in and get 180 to 200 pound dumbbells. I mean, that's not going to happen.
Not in
so
Newcastle County.
You already have that demographic, and then the person that wants to train super intense that doesn't want to deal with Instagram Central, they're not going to go to the edge are going to come here.
Exactly.
And so it's like serious fitness, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
I can't spell his name.
oh, okay.
So-
All right.
Sorry, I was trying to spell his last name. I was like, I can't find this.
Well, if you guys are watching, comment below if you
Yeah.
if you know. But I'm pretty sure he passed away like a year or two ago. So, but where did we cut her off at?
She said you were asking what was more
Intimidating
intimidating about
about the
here as
gym.
opposed to a commercial gym.
Yeah. So in your own words.
Well, I don't know if intimidating is the word. I just kind of felt like I was in everyone's way here,
Mhm.
and like the people who like actually need to use the equipment, or I don't know,
Right.
who should use it. I know,
You're in
but
front,
I
you
just kind of
gotta
felt
use
like
it
I was in
too.
everyone's way. And then I got over it.
Got it. Got it.
That's usually what happens. I hear that a lot. Like when my ex came here, she was like, and then I came here, I was just like, some big people here. And that's one thing too. I did not pull off the rack until I could pull below the rack.
Yeah.
It's like I'm pulling off the bench. I have no reason to pull off the rack. And then now I'm just like, whatever, I'm pulling off the rack. But it's just funny. It's like that's not the first time.
What do you mean pulling off the rack?
When you do dumbbell rows.
Oh, gotcha.
You always said the bench.
I did the bench up to like 60 pounds, and then
Yeah.
so once I hit 65, I was like, all right, I'm pulling off the rack.
I always
right
pulled
away.
off the rack, even at retro. But people will look at me because everyone used the bench, and here I am just on the rack. They're like, what the heck?
So, question with that: don't you feel like it's more effective though? Like you get more
Off the rack.
off the bench,
The
No.
bench, I do, yeah. But I pull off the rack because I see you guys do it. I'm
right?
like,
But the
this-
rack is like you can use more body
Yeah.
language, right? When you're on the bench, you have to be more isolated.
Yeah.
I think, right?
Yeah.
So, what got you in the loop?
You.
I was gonna say that was a you just want to
No
put yourself on the
brainer.
spot. It's like, yeah, tell me about where you got lifted from. I couldn't even fathom where you got that from.
And because when I would come in here, like, this is obviously a different gym than, like, Planet Fitness. If you go to Planet Fitness, you see all the people walking on the treadmills and you feel comfortable there. And it's like here, I would just be like, I feel like I needed to be in shape.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mhm.
because just the environment, so, and you. So, yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I know it's funny because we go to YMCA sometimes in a pinch, and her and Stevie, which is my older son, will sit there and make fun of all the people. Why is that grown man lifting like that?
Oh my god.
And I'm like, everybody does not know. Everybody does not know. You know? And but I mean, your mom lifts also, but and you know, Alex and Sydney haven't really jumped into fitness that way. You know, their dad has a personal trainer and all that stuff too, right? So,
Yeah.
and they haven't. And then like you know, Stevie's hit or miss, but at a very early age, you were pretty much into it. So, what do you think? Like, in your mind, like, do you just
I don't
enjoy
know, I
it?
just always liked it. Like, I would go to so many shows with you and just watch and observe,
Mm-hmm.
and I just liked it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, at a very young age, we would pack the car up and everybody be in the car. We just go to shows, coaching the athletes, and spend all day. And then what I would try and do is find something fun in the area to do for the kids, so that you hear a lot of people say that it's a selfish sport, and it's hard to have a family life with this sport. So I would always involve my family. So we were in here the one year doing cardio, 11 to 12 p.m., 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. We'd be doing cardio together, or we were in, what beach were we at? We're at Ocean City, right? Bethany last year, right? And we went and, before the show, and we did all the family stuff, did the photo shoot, did the going out to eat with them and with the family, and then the younger two and my wife stayed at the hotel, and then we went to the gym, found a Planet Fitness about 20 miles up the road, and we went and trained, and so we didn't get back to the hotel room until 1 a.m. They didn't have school the next day, so I wasn't getting that bad. But yeah. So we just, I would always include them in everything, So how about you?
Pretty much, I really didn't have the best guidance growing up, so I was kind of like a bad kid. And I just started looking at my environment, and I was like, this really can't be where I am forever. So I was like, let me do something no one else here is doing. So I started going to Planet Fitness with my first gym, but I only did cardio. And I was like, well, I'm getting skinny, but I kind of look gross still, I'm like skinny fat. So then I just started going on Instagram, looking up people, came across one woman from Australia who I really liked, and she was like a power lifter. I was like, this is cool. Started squatting and deadlifting. Before I even really knew powerlifting was like competitions, I didn't know much. I already liked the movements, and I was like, well, maybe let me try powerlifting, and fell in love with it. I just like being strong. That's all I cared about. I was always weak growing up. I could have been easily bullied. Someone could have kicked the shit out of me, and I was like, let me just be strong. So I loved it ever since.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. So how long into being into it did you get to come here?
I came like a year and a half ago. And I remember because I worked at Best Buy in a warehouse. Tito, when he was up there, he worked at Best Buy, but for Magnolia, which is like a really expensive part of Best Buy. And I was wearing like a beater, and I was pulling something from a pallet. He was like, "Oh, you have muscles." He's like, "You lift?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I'm at Retro," and he's like, "How about you come to the training center on me? Just show up, and I'll let you in." I said, "All right." I came in, and I was like stunned. I didn't even know a gym like this existed. It was a really busy night. I think I was gonna squat, and I walk back, and I hear screaming. It's Tom, of course. And I'm like, look at this fucking guy. Like, holy crap. And just immediately made friends. Like, I didn't even feel intimidated, which was weird, because I've never been in that atmosphere. But I felt good. And I remember I PR'd. I hit like 245, and I was so happy. Came back the next day, and then I met you. You just came up to me. It's like, are you that girl that everyone's talking about? Powerlifting girl. I was like, no. I was scared. I was like, who the hell is this guy? Going all big. I was like, I don't know this guy. And I had no idea who you were, so I just didn't even know like you were here. And then told me to come for an interview, and then luckily you hired me. And then I've been here ever since.
That's funny. That's the second person that had no idea who you were.
I didn't. I felt bad. I came in here for the interview. I'm looking. I'm like, this guy's a big fucking deal. Like, he's an important guy. And then, like, ever since I started being here, I started hearing about you a lot more. Like, even now, where I'm at in Avondale, one of the neighbors knew I worked here. That's, oh, you know Freddie Smalls. I'm like, how the fuck do you know? And I'm like, you're just a very popular guy. So.
I didn't say that. But
it's the truth. Everywhere I go, you know Fred Smalls? I'm like, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, Alexis had told me, our previous manager told me about you and said, you know, there's this girl I think could be a good trainer for you. Yeah. And that's why I approached you that day.
The way she said it too, I thought she knew you or something.
Yeah, she acted like she knew you.
She didn't even know me.
Yeah.
I didn't know her. Nope.
Yeah.
I think she was trying to get you to work at the front desk too before you started.
I'm happy I didn't do that.
Yeah, that's a...
Shots fired.
I don't like those kind of jobs. I don't like having bosses on me like that.
Yeah.
Watching everything, so.
That's cool. That's cool. So what do I just let you do whatever the hell you want to do?
Pretty much.
What? Yeah, of course, no. I learned a lot with you. It was actually very overwhelming. I was scared, because I was like not trying to do anything wrong. And I know, obviously, in the beginning I was like terrible. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
I didn't say that.
I'm saying that because I know this. But I just feel like probably within the first like 8 months I changed a lot. And then even now I just feel like a completely different person. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool to see you work with clients now because... I'm
just comfortable.
Yeah, like I had a
scared.
client one time tell me, say something about, you know, being able to spot them. And I'm like, are you as strong as me? No. So she'll have you. You don't have to worry about it. She's got you, you know, and it's kind of, it's reassuring to know that you have somebody, cause like, you know, I went from Rashaad, and Rashaad was helping me when I was injured and had no mobility in my arm. So I know you're lying because I wasn't big when I came up to you.
Well, to me, I didn't even know like.
This is February
bodybuilders.
last year.
Yeah,
you
nah,
lying like
I'm
shit.
lying.
You lying like
Whoa,
shit. He was fat as shit.
Listen, maybe you weren't big in the bodybuilding world, but you were big in me because I had no idea.
But he legit had surgery in September, and he didn't take that sling off. I think
mean,
until like
he was
December
still
or something.
big.
Like consistently to having it all.
Right.
You were still big. You were still like, even if you were fat enough.
Big.
Look, I was so big, my son would go like this. Dad, how come nobody asks you if you work out anymore?
That's just wrong.
Yeah, I went into, you know, you get used to hearing the same things everywhere you go. How much you bench? And we laugh about that. Why do people always ask you how much you bench? Like, you can ask me something else, you know.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you oh man, you're big. And you hear all these different sayings that people say to you all the time to let you know that you look different than what everybody else looks. And all of a sudden, I'm like, ain't nobody saying nothing. Can someone ask, do you want to know how much I bench? That's what I started doing. Do you want to know how much I bench?
They try, you work out?
You work out, exactly. Yeah. Or you start hearing this, when did you retire?
Somebody came up to us in Disney last summer.
Yeah, nobody. First time we went to Disney World, not the first time, but that time.
That was last year?
Time in 2016 went to Disney World. And I just got done doing the Baltimore Pro, and I was getting ready to do the Arnold Classic a few weeks later. So I was in between preps, and I was just I just said, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna go have a good time. And I'm walking around, and my daughter literally stops me and goes, "Can we just buy a shirt? Buy a shirt. You're wearing don't wear a tank top today, because I really want to get to the event." Because she said, we can't walk 2 steps without someone stopping you. And it was true. You know, it was crazy because, you know, at the time I needed it because I had just gotten beat at a show I really had anticipated winning, and so I was feeling down. And that week in Disney, I remember it was kind of like, you know what? It's not like I try and tell my competitors this all the time. If it's not about the win first, like we definitely want to win, but the first priority is to wake up the morning of the show and look yourself in the mirror and go, "Wow, I can't believe I accomplished this." Because if you do that, then you know you're ready, right? Like if you get up and you're like, "God, I wish I looked better," then we didn't do our job. But if you wake up and you're like, "Holy shit, look at me," then we did our job. Because you're never gonna know what 7 judges are gonna think, or 5 judges at the local level. But we do know where you've come from, what you achieved, and the personal growth that happens during a prep. So from a coaching standpoint, that's what I'm always looking for first. Because I mean, there's been times when I should have won shows that I didn't win. There's been times when I didn't look at it that way, and I literally had to be carried out of the auditorium because I was ready to punch the head judge in the face. Because you get so emotionally involved and charged with your people, and you're just like, how do you not win? You know? And one of my good colleagues, she's like, she can't even go to certain events anymore because she did let that emotion overtake her and start screaming at judges and stuff like that. So, you know, you become so invested with your athletes that, you know, when they don't get the placing you think they deserve, if you don't have that belief that, you know, it's about their personal accomplishment first, then it's hard to stay in this game for a long period of time, you know. And so that's really, really important. But I did it again. Where was I going with that?
You were at Disney. You had that mindset, so you was like, you needed to get stopped.
Yeah. So, you know, we were in Disney, man. It was just crazy. Like all week long, people were just like, you know, what do you do? Who are you? Are you one to, you know, the characters are coming up to me. It's crazy.
And in comparison to last year,
whoa. I saw somebody in line, and they're like, "Aren't you Fred Biggiesmalls?" Like, yeah, man, I look like this because, you know, I had surgery and
Gets defensive.
and we're walking around the park, and I have my shirt off, and no one's saying anything. And my son's like, "Man, you look like a dad bod today, Dad." You know, like, oh boy. So, of course, my wife's super supportive. "You look great. You look amazing." You know, and all this other stuff, and I'm like, "You sure I don't look fat?" You know, you look. That happened one other time, 2008, man. It was like me and this guy Curtis, Dave Whaling, and one of my best friends, Tommy Blood, went to. I think it was Hershey or something like that, and Great Adventures. And me and Karen go, and we're up there. We're having a good time. We're walking around the park, and my boy's like looking at me the whole time. And 3 months later, he's like this. He's like, "I don't know how you competed, because I thought when I looked at you at the park, I thought your career was over." He's like, "You were so fat." You know, I was like, but, you know, but that year was crazy. I was going through a divorce and all that other stuff, so I stopped training, and it's just funny though, like what the body can do and how it can snap back when you put your mind to it and get focused, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the dad bod was for real, in full effect. So you do nutrition.
Yes, I do.
You have a daughter.
Yeah.
And I had mentioned earlier that my kids wanted to be on a diet plan, and I was not sold on giving them a diet plan. How do you feel if a parent comes to you about putting children on diets?
Well, so we're saying anybody under 18.
Yeah, I mean, let's just say, you know, kids are overweight, and let's just say that awkward age between like 11 and 15.
All right, so my main thing is I'm not going to give them a super strict diet. If anything, I want to teach them how to eat better, because as America as a whole, we have a very high obesity rate for children.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like, all right, you only get to eat chicken and ground turkey, now get out type thing. Because obviously, kids, even like especially if a kid who does want to do it, like in this case, Monika wanted to get a certain type of way. But if you get this kid who's used to eating McDonald's all day, and then he doesn't want to change his lifestyle because he's a kid and that's what he was fed, then I'm going to give the parent a diet. Say, here, this is how you can make home cooked meals for him, and make it to the point where if he's eating what he's supposed to be eating, he'll naturally lose weight because one, he's a kid, fast metabolism, and it's going to drop fast regardless. But you also need to teach him how to eat correctly for when he's an adult. When he goes to college, he doesn't eat this all the time, eat that all the time. So it's just more of a teaching tool. I would teach it more as a teaching tool more than a diet.
Yeah, yeah. I'm always worried about keeping a healthy relationship with food, right? But what's your feeling on it?
I know for Viv, and I know she's really young, so there's absolutely no way I'm putting her on a diet. You can't do it. She's just not gonna eat it. She's gonna throw it at me or something. I just like try to split it up. Like she has a protein bar in the morning. She loves them. It's like a Special K meal bar. She eats it. She has a banana. She already likes sort of healthy food, so I'm okay. I just make sure she can eat junk, but I try to feed her decent. Like I'll give her eggs twice a week, some chicken. But I'm not super strict about it. I don't think it's going to be like that because then the kids grow up like having that horrible relationship with food. They think it's bad. And I'm just like, oh, you don't want to do that because they're just going to spiral. Like for me, like I was like getting restricted as a kid because I was always a little heavier. So like my dad, like I'd have a best friend who was that one friend that can eat as much but would never get big. Of course, she was my best friend, so we'd go out to eat. If I wanted dessert, my dad would come and be like, no. Like she can, you can't. I'm like, damn. And then just like I would find myself like hiding in my room, like eating. You know what I mean? Just actually having to go get food, eat it, and then I was getting a little bigger, and I was like, oh, this sucks. So for me, it was kind of a bad situation to have the diet taught incorrectly, I guess. But just teaching Viv like foods are good, what foods are bad. Like now I do the thing like eat your eggs are gonna make you strong. Like me and Dan always say, it'll make you stronger. She'll show muscles and stuff, so she understands it. But
that's positive.
Yeah, so I just try to keep it really positive. I don't want her to have like, especially being a girl, like the way they view bodies. Like I don't want her thinking she has to be a certain way. I just want her to be healthy, whatever.
Second, what she said too, that story about your friend and like not being able to eat made me think of a time me and my step-nephew, wherever he is to me. I'm just saying my cousin for now. It's my stepdad.
You don't even know your family, bro?
It's my stepdad. All right, so it's my stepdad's grandson, so that makes him my step-nephew, right?
Yeah, you lost me.
So I just say my cousin. I always just say my cousin.
My cousin.
But so he's 25 right now. I'm 28, and I remember we went to my stepdad's granddad's house. His dad's house, and they eat all day, and I was trying to get something like McDonald's or whatever because we never get it, and I was like, if we stay here long enough, that means he has to buy something on the way home. But then I said, oh, what time are we leaving so we can get some food? He said, oh, I'll get you some Burger King on the way home or whatever. I was like,
yeah.
And then here comes his dad. He's like, oh, we got food in the kitchen. I was like,
oh man.
Well, I guess so. Whatever. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
So he had sweet potatoes, mashed sweet potatoes, collard greens, some type of chicken and corn or whatever. And I was like, oh, this is actually good food. I'm fine with it. But then my cousin, he just ate hoagies all the time, like just ate horrible food, and he had like one of the bodies where he just didn't metabolize. He metabolized it really fast. But he was just like crying at the table because he really wanted. Like I'm eating the food, I'm like, hey, this food's pretty good. I think I'm like 11, he's 7 or 8 or whatever, and he's just crying. And there's a bag of chips on there. He said, I just want the chips. And I was like, this food's good. I'm eating, and he cried the whole time, just like twiddling with the food. And I was just like, and that's what I meant by teaching tools. Like he's legit crying over food that's actually good, like tastes good.
Right.
And I mean, granted, it probably wasn't cooked the most healthiest way, but it was still better than going to McDonald's or the bag of chips on top of the refrigerator. And he's crying because that's all he eats at his dad's house. So it's like that's what I meant by teaching tools as well.
Sure. Do you feel like you have an unhealthy relationship with food since we started eating better and you've done a show and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, but it's also taught me that like I'm fine if I eat like whatever I want, but like I also have eczema, so when I eat bad food, it shows up in my skin. So it's like I rather eat healthy than bad, but I can still eat bad when I want to.
Right. How about you?
Growing up, it was just my mom cooked a lot, so it was just kind of whatever, and we ate out like, very rarely. So growing up was fine. Once I was on my own, I ate awful. I don't know if I ever ate complete meals.
Mm-hmm.
So then starting with you was really huge. It was just such a change.
Right.
I like it now. I mean, I'm fine. I know that I can't eat bad and then I feel like shit for like 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
So I try not to. And every time I'm like, oh, I'll be fine. And then afterwards I'm like, oh, it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, I remember being in college. Well, actually, like, for me, I did this whole thing going into, I thought I was in shape because I would watch the bodybuilding stuff on ESPN and I was just lifting and they kept talking about having to eat a lot, you know, and I was really overweight as a child, right? So, well, yeah, I was overweight as a child. I mean, they would definitely call me like the overweight lover and all types of stuff, right? And but I was so confident that it didn't really bother me because my mom and dad just instilled such confidence in me. But the funny part about it would be like, ooh, you got an A, let's go get a sub. You did really good, let's go get pizza. You know, like it was like, and it was always the ritual. Pizza was on Friday night. We'd always get subs. We were just eaters, you know. They were heavy eaters, and you know, the first time we kind of got any idea of trying to eat a little better, my dad ended up with like super high cholesterol, so he started trying to fix healthier meals at home, started drinking less soda, stuff like that. But I was definitely overweight, and then what ended up happening is I started losing weight when I wrestled, of course, just being active. But if I knew anything about nutrition, I would have easily been able to be a better wrestler because I would have cut weight and wouldn't be carrying all that extra weight, you know. But I was in the mall my senior year. I had a tank top on. I'm thinking, yeah, I look good. And Sky Tose is in the mall doing body fat. I tell you this before?
You know.
He's doing body fat. I walk in, and he's like, you know, he's like, hey, you want your body fat done? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll get my body fat done. I'm with my boy Dave. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to be like 10%. Came back like 21%. I was like, wow. And I remember, I was like, why didn't you tell me I was fat? It's you know, like a parallel story, right? So I literally the next day went down and hired the nutrition analysis guy at Gold's Gym, did a 3-month diet, and when I went to college that following fall, I was like ripped, you know, and that was my first experience with dieting. And it became like a prideful thing because everybody would be eating and I'd be like, I can't have that, I can't have that. And I took pride in that, you know. And I don't really know if the guy knew what he was doing because I literally was eating so much pineapple that I developed ulcers on my tongue. You know, so much whole wheat bread, tons of tuna. Like they talk about you can't have but so many cans of tuna a week and all this stuff. Kid you not, 3 to 4 cans of tuna every single day.
God.
Every single day. But I followed it, you know. And
this one had that mercury.
yeah. But you know, nutrition analysis wasn't a good program anyway because literally you plug people's information in. Because years later, I ended up doing it at Gold's Gym myself. And when I started doing it within the first 2 weeks, I was like, this program sucks, and I bought another one. But they would teach you like 3 meals a day and a snack. You know, so you're on 4 meals a day, and it was always like way carb heavy, almost no protein. But that was the way it used to be. You know, that's the way the RDA used to recommend. You know, but yeah, so I didn't really have the healthiest relationship with food because I always attributed to reward. You know, so I try not to do that with my kids. We do like their mom cooks a lot. Her mom cooks a lot, so they don't eat a lot. You don't eat out a lot at your mom's house, right? With me, it's free for all. We eat out like every night, and so it kind of helps when I am contest dieting because when I'm not contest dieting, see that's what's happened to me. When I don't contest diet, it's like Friday hits and it's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, eat out, you know, because you're so deprived of it for so many months, and especially like from like the years 2012 to 2017, it was like I spent more time contest dieting than I did eating normal. So me getting the surgery was actually good because I kind of learned how to eat on a normal, right? Some normalcy, like, you know, dinner, not everything, meal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, it's like, you know, I actually, so I don't know if that's a better thing, but, you know, for me, I believe that if you can not connect food with reward, it's really important. You know, like I think it's very important because too many people do that. Oh, we did this, let's go out and eat. Oh, we did this, let's go out, you know, and they attach every social event. And that's like probably one of the hardest things about contest dining, right? like you have social events and everything's connected to food.
Yep.
And that's what's wrong with the BC in our country, because everything's connected to food. It's like people go, oh, I feel good, I want to eat.
Yeah.
I have my daughter's birthday, what am I supposed to do? I don't know, serve cake to your daughter, don't eat it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's so hard about that, right? Like, if you have a goal in mind, and I'm guilty for it too. Like, I mean, I've literally backed out of competitions where I could have made money, and I'm like, I feel like eating. You know, like I told the story the other week where I won nationals, and they're trying to fly me to LA for this photo shoot, and I'm like, nah, I'm ready to eat. I'm done with dining.
Yeah, you ended up going anyway.
I did it because they paid me a crazy amount of money to do it, but I literally was not doing it. I was like, it's not that important to me. Later on, I would have regretted it. But it really was not that important in the moment. I was like, I want this Philadelphia cheesesteak right here. I want to be able to enjoy myself all week. And they were like, we'll pay you this. I was like, it can wait. It can wait. So, but you said, like you said, you know, when you're eating better, you just feel better, right? Add something to it. Throw something in there.
I don't know. Like when you said about how you shouldn't connect food to an award or whatever, like, yeah, but then like what kept me motivated throughout my prep was like, the food's gonna taste better if I win.
I know. Right?
So it's like, I don't want to cheat, because if I lose, then I'm gonna be on myself the whole time. Be like, I lost because I cheated that one day. I lost because I messed up that one day. So it's like, it tastes better when you did the right thing and put in all that hard work.
So it's funny because essentially you're still making food a reward
Yeah.
at the end.
Well, I think that's a little different though, right? Because we're talking about normal people.
Yeah.
And normal people are not contest dieting, get ready for shows. So what ends up happening is, what I'm talking about is that person that, let's say if you're run a business, right, and you want to take this client out, you make a great deal, you're going out and you're partying with your colleagues and your family, yay, we made money, you know. You had a successful showing, you know, like we're going to be traveling with big sports. If we have a great event, we can't go afterwards and go, all right, we're going to go gorge ourselves because we had a great day. You know, everything, and when you learn that early, like as a kid, honor roll, what food do you want? I mean, there's other things you can attach to as a reward other than food, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I think if we can learn to do that, you're going to have less obesity, you're going to have a less addiction to food. It's a stressful time. So does that mean I sit there and dive into a bag of chips and watch Netflix all night, or it's a stressful time, so I'm going to get used to reading something to get me out of this stressful time, something productive to get me past this moment in time, right? Because it's just a moment in time. And after you eat all the food and do nothing, the moment in time is still there, right? So
then you feel worse.
Then you feel worse. That's right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, how do you get people past that? And us as coaches, we have to help our clients with that. Like, you know, when Chelsea comes to me and says, it's quarantine, I really haven't done anything, I haven't been motivated, it's my job to figure out how I can motivate her. What angle do I need to take to motivate her, right? So that's what I'm thinking. Like, if we, and this is one of the first things I try and tell my clients is, stop attaching food to a social event. He can't go to the movie without thinking about popcorn. I mean, this man is like, yo,
it was one.
This movie is coming out. I can't go to the movie. Why can't you go to the movie? I'm gonna tell it for myself first.
Okay, go ahead.
Why can't I go to the movie? Why can't you go to the movie? Oh man, I can't go to the movie not having popcorn. What? I mean, I love Twizzlers when I'm eating and watching the movie, but I can go to the movie without eating Twizzlers.
But like, and you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong at all. But it's just like, for me, nothing tastes like movie popcorn. Like, to the point where after my show was over, I went to 3 places specifically, and I went in the order of closest from the place to my house. So I think the movie theater was first. I legit walked into the movie theater, got popcorn, and left.
Oh my God.
I didn't even get a ticket for a movie or anything. And then I went to Red Lobster, got the biscuits, and left.
Yeah, I can dap you up on that one.
And then the last thing was sweet potato cupcakes too. But Did
you
pop
get
ShopRite.
Are they good?
Are they good?
Has anybody else in here had sweet potato
I
pie?
think I gave you
That
one,
was a
right?
thing.
No, they're really good.
Well,
Very
when
good.
y'all all can eat something, I will bring them in specifically just so y'all can taste it because there's nothing, hands down, the best pastry I ever ate in my life.
Okay.
Period.
Sweet potato. I like sweet potato pie, so I'm
It's
sure it's pretty
better
good.
than that.
Sure. What's your favorite cheat meal? Gotta keep you from
Probably
yawning.
ice cream.
Ice cream?
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of I like pizza, but it makes me feel so bad for like 2 solid days. Like I can eat ice cream and feel fine the next day. So I try to avoid just like not feeling like crap forever with pizza. But I like ice cream.
One of my fellow IFBB pros, Bethany Wagner, she was like, we were eating pizza, and I was like, oh my god, I'm stuffed. And she's like, yeah, me too. And she ordered like 2 desserts, and I was like, what are you doing? She's like, you didn't know you had 2 bellies? You have a dessert belly, you have a food belly.
There's truth
Dessert
to
doesn't
that.
react the same way. And I swear to God, I can be stuffed, but if a piece of cheesecake
There's always
or
room.
key lime
Always
pie or
room.
something, it's like you can eat that thing, you'd be like, yeah, I'm alright, I'm okay, I'm okay.
I'm not over. I'm not over the hill yet.
Yeah, I'm not over there. I can make it. I can make it. How about you? What's your favorite?
Authentic Mexican. I like it.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Is that pre-Dan or now?
I was like,
Dan.
how can I make this funny?
Pre-Dan, but still with Dan because he likes it too. So we actually like order the same exact
He's
stuff.
Mexican, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
so-
I like that, and ice cream is a little bit of a downfall too. Honestly, all food is. I'm just a big foodie. I'll eat anything. But the issue with me is like I'll binge eat. That's like the unhealthy relationship I got going. So I'm trying to work on that because I'll eat like all that Mexican. I know the ice cream's in there, but I also know I got like pretzels up in there, and I'm like making this humongous sundae, and it's like I just gorge myself.
Mhm.
My mind can't. I'll lay there falling asleep about to throw up all at the same time, like trying to like just get it together. And I'm like, why do I do this?
You know what's
I know
funny?
it's not right.
After my show, I used to do that
I
too.
used to do that too.
Yeah,
But then, like,
it's
after I
terrible.
did that show, I feel like I can only eat so much, and then I'm like, I don't want any more.
I need
'Cause
that feeling.
if I get that feeling, I just feel super uncomfortable,
Yeah.
and I was like, I hate that. I like, let's say if I could eat a whole pizza. I used to be able to eat a whole pizza by myself, and in the middle of prep, when you gave me cheat meals, I could. But like now, like when you told me to get a cheat meal like last week, and I had that pizza, I had like 4 slices, and I'm like,
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's extreme of like it depends on how extreme the diet is too. Like I know for me, when I used to diet all the time, when I'd have an opportunity to eat something, I was eating because I knew I had to fit it all into a small window.
Yeah.
Right. Like I noticed when I had the surgery, I know at then the challenge wasn't not eating bad. The challenge was, did I even eat? Because I had slowed my metabolism down to a point where, you know, I go and then when you did eat, you'd eat the wrong thing and your body's just storing it as fat, right? So, like, just getting into a healthy relationship of having the chicken and rice and all that kind of stuff and consistently was a real discipline for me to make myself do that. Because, you know, when you're not training for bodybuilding, you're kind of like 2 or 3 times eating a day. It's plenty.
Yeah.
It's kind of plenty, especially if you're not athletically training, you know. But yeah, that's pretty cool. What's your favorite?
I was
cheat
going
meal?
to say that next.
What's your favorite?
I
cheat
have
meal?
a lot, but my top 3
Oh,
would
wow.
be
Go hard in the paint.
cheesecake, a burrito, and a sub.
What kind of burrito? Or should I say from where?
Qdoba.
Okay, that's all right.
They're good, and they're better than Chipotle.
They
Yes.
Are they really?
I think so. Dan lived for Chipotle. Everything's
Oh,
Chipotle.
man.
I'm like, why don't you go to Qdoba? It's better. No, it's not. Okay.
I literally had this vision of Chipotle for so long when I was dieting. And I was so excited when they built one in my town, Middletown. So excited. And I went there and had it a couple of times, like, boo.
Yeah, it's not that
Okay,
great.
this is not, I mean, this is nothing. But you know, they stuff it, and it's so big, and you're just like, yeah, it's so messy.
2
Yeah,
things though.
Qdoba's definitely better.
I actually hated Qdoba at first because
Really?
the one in Dover, I had drill that weekend and we were driving around. I was like, you know what? Qdoba's right there. I never had that before. And it was like probably 15 minutes before they closed. So that's where I messed up. But I went in there and they're just like, all right, what you want?
They
So-
definitely spit in your food that night.
well, they didn't do it in front of my face because I'm like looking at them making my food. So, but they did it. It was cold. It was dry. I'm like, ew, I ain't never going back to Qdoba. I ain't go back for like a good 6 months. And then I went to the one on Cocker Pike,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that was way better. But then, what you say about Chipotle, how they like just stuff everything in
Yeah,
there?
that's good.
I remember I went there for the first time, and I'm sitting at the restaurant. I ate half, and I was like, I can't eat all this now. I'm just like, give me some chips too.
Asking Chris for a cheat meal and going to get Chipotle. That's awesome, man. God, I gotta have one in the next week. I know it's coming. Please, Chris, let it come. But yeah, like I had Cordova the first time coming back from Indiana. No, was I in Indiana? Yeah, Indiana. We were traveling back across, back to Delaware, and we stopped somewhere, and everything was closed except the Cordova.
Mm-hmm.
So I went in there and had it. I was like, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. But yeah, I think when you diet really, really hard, and you're like, man, I get to eat for like this amount of time. I remember going to 7-Eleven spending $80 on food.
Oh my god. I
Yeah.
went to Main Street that one time and you literally.
Yeah, we went to every restaurant. Yeah. Then we brought it
Wow.
all home and put it on the
That's like something I would do
and
by
put it
myself,
on the
though.
table, and I ate so much I threw up everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was terrible.
God damn.
I've been
Yeah,
there.
it's terrible.
That's horrible.
That
It
is
was.
terrible.
It
You used to
was.
eat so much you'd literally be in the chair like this.
Yep.
Sweat
Yep.
dripping down
Yep.
your face.
I'd be like, oh my belly, somebody rub my
That's,
belly.
that's real stuff.
Rub
I've
my
been
belly.
The
there.
sweat just makes it even
Oh
funny.
my god.
Wow.
Yeah, it was so bad. Oh man. I remember the first show I did, ate like a dozen donuts after it. I mean, I was just so like back then we didn't diet properly, right? So it was just straight like I remember for like 3 to 4 weeks before the show, all I had was like for a fat was like some flaxseed oil. And the rest of it was tuna and spinach, egg whites and spinach. That's all I ate every day. And you're doing like hour or 2 hours of cardio, because that's how you dieted back then. You really know about about proper nutrition. It was just kind of like whatever it took to get you lean. So we did I did this show and I didn't do so well, and then like 2 weeks later I had the super body, and this guy was like, just do 1,400 calories for 2 weeks. So that's what I did, 1,400 calories for 2 weeks. So you're so deprived. And what? I was competing like 190 something.
Okay.
So like 1,400 calories is nothing, and doing cardio and training. And I remember your mom and I were down in Miami, and this is when I first started learning about how to prep clients different, because my old trainer would just kind of like starve you into the show and then feed you a little bit right before you went on, and then you have a pump for a second. And she was just like, she looked at me, she's like, okay. I was like, I don't look good, huh? She was like, no, you're good. I'm gonna call CJ right now. She acted like she called CJ, and she didn't call him. And she turned around and said, CJ said, eat whatever you want.
Damn.
And I was like, what? And she said, just eat. He said, just eat. Grab anything and just eat so you can fill out more. And then I did, and ended up top 5. It was probably, I think there was 30 something of us in the class. Ended up top 5. And I was on ESPN and got to do my routine and all that stuff. And later on, she's like, I didn't call CJ. She's like, I just kind of do what you told me to do when I train, and what I hear you tell other people to train, that's what I told you to do. And I was like, what? She was like, I just think you need more food. He doesn't feed you enough. And then from that point forward, I kind of learned something from that, And I just remember, I was really thankful. But then after that show, we went to Don Shula's, and they have this 48-ounce steak. And if you can eat it all, you get your name on the wall. I got the steak, the potato, the salad, the oysters Rockefeller, another appetizer, I forget what it was, and dessert. Ate it all.
Oh my god.
Ate it all. Name it's still on the wall down there, and it's like your body's moving so fast at that time that you can eat and you just don't get hungry. You just keep eating. Didn't you feel that when you were like done your show? Like you just eat and just kept eating. And did you feel that when you were done yours?
Like immediately done, or like the next day?
I mean, like within the next 3 days.
Yeah, I ate everything for hours. Yeah.
Yeah, you can just keep eating, right? It's like you can't get satisfied. That's
You're
like,
not
and
full.
food never tastes as good as after your show.
Mhm.
Like that is the best tasting food ever. Like I was dieting for a show, and we went and had this steak, and it was at Bugaboo Creek, and they've since shut down. But I swear I went to Bugaboo Creek for years trying to get that same taste out of that steak. Never tasted that good again. Never tasted that good again. Terrible. So, what would you say was your favorite meal, like real diet meal?
What do you mean, like with that you put on my diet, or you talking about?
I don't even understand. What
you said diet meal.
What's your favorite diet
You
meal?
said cheat meal or the
Is
meal?
there something hard about that question?
Well, if you're gonna it's always gonna be chicken and rice. If you're talking about the meal that's on my diet,
You sound real stereotypical right now.
and whatever. Because all right, I can't say
Done
steak.
in the air fryer, right?
No, baked. Wait, did you get or I'm not what?
Did I get the air
You're
fryer?
having
I didn't know if
day.
that was like
No,
okay.
no.
I didn't know if that was I was supposed to say or not
No.
the same thing. But that's why I was like trying to cut myself off. But no, really, it's probably no. Actually, I take that back. It's actually probably ground beef and rice and broccoli because it's just enough fats in there, and obviously the beef and the rice mixes well with the fat, and it just tastes really good. But yeah, but you didn't put that on it that often, so.
How about you?
This time I'm actually really liking the ground beef and rice too. Last time I did not like it.
Feeling it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because I'm cooking it different now.
How do you cook it?
Well, I wasn't using anything, but now I use like a little bit of taco seasoning, and that makes life a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't mixing the ground beef into the rice. It was just like.
You just had it completely separate.
Yeah.
Oh wow, you were doing it wrong.
Yeah, I don't know.
All wrong.
So now I like that a lot.
You know what you should do is I don't know, how do you cook? You bake your ground beef or do you cook it on the stovetop?
I didn't even know you could bake
You
it.
can bake it. I didn't
You
know that either.
You can. Just,
What do you do? You like
instead of like chopping it up completely, you just
Like a meatloaf
Like
kind
as
of
a loaf?
scenario?
kind of.
as like just a loaf of meat. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Doesn't
I don't
sound
do
so
that, but I've seen
appetizing when
people
you
do
say
it.
it like
Okay.
that.
But what I do is I cook the beef and like take the beef out of the pan and then use that same pan to cook the rice in and let it boil in the oils from the beef, and then now you got beef flavored rice.
Interesting.
Well, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Interesting. What about you?
Oatmeal and eggs, breakfast. It's my favorite. I don't care about the steak. I don't care about chicken. Salmon and rice is okay. I don't mind that every once in a while. And the pork that you just put in my diet, it's actually pretty good. That changed it up a little bit. But yeah, I was kind of weird to see it on there.
We really early in the diet right now.
Yeah.
Early in the diet. We have to learn.
We're
Remember that thing I said
newbie.
we have to learn how to eat again
Yeah, I'm
without the
trying.
stuffed crust pizza and all that stuff in there.
That thing. I'll never order it again.
What?
But definitely oatmeal and eggs, just because I can do different stuff. Like you see the pancake and crowd, like people think that's like pancake mix. I'm like, no, it's my oats and eggs. So like I can make pancakes one day. I can like make a humongous bowl of oatmeal because you can just cook the eggs into the oats, or you can just have scrambled eggs with oatmeal. So just like tricking myself every day, I kind of like.
That's
So,
cool.
Tastes pretty good.
What's up? What do you like?
One of my favorite meal that you ever gave me when I was in prep was you gave me oatmeal and grits with honey and steak and eggs.
God damn.
Damn.
That was one of
You're
the
holding
best.
down us.
That's some
I
family
had
treat
that.
right there.
Oh, it's the-
I guarantee ain't nobody else in that contest.
I just made a whole huge bowl of grits and oatmeal, put
That
it
sounds
together
pretty good.
and put the honey in.
Yeah, I got that from George. George Ferry used to do that combination with me all the time. So you got the fast and the slow together, and yeah, that's a really good one. I like that one. Me, I would say I don't really like dieting. I don't. I like the result, but I really don't like dieting. So I'm cool. I've been doing like, Chris has pretty much had me eating 10 egg whites, 2 eggs, cup of oatmeal, and a piece of fruit since July of last year. That's pretty much been my breakfast the whole time, outside of a day here or there, and I enjoy that. Like when we were in Ohio, I had that every day, and it's good.
Biggest omelet I've
Tastes
ever
good.
seen in my
Yeah, it's good. It's good, and it sustains you, and you don't feel like you didn't eat.
That's
when
why I
you're
like it. I think 'cause you like put that the most calories in eating, I just feel so full, and I'm like, this is great.
done. Yeah.
And then the rest of the day just kind of.
It's,
Goes downhill from
Yeah.
there.
it's funny because you put recently on my training days 4 eggs on my diet, and I think the most you ever had on there was like 2 when I was in prep, and I bought I had 4 cases of eggs in my refrigerator because I thought I was running low, but I had a full case, and then I had the half of one, and then I bought the 2 from BJ, so how they sell them in the 2 packs themselves, and I went through 3 of those things so fast. I was like, this pisses me off even more that we gonna buy a certain amount of food during quarantine because
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
I was
right.
like, I legit went through all of this in that short amount of time. And it was like, you can only take one. And somebody, I had the nerve, it wasn't me, but I had the nerve, somebody I was talking to, I think I was doing their diet or whatever. And they said, you know, somebody said in the store, why I need all this chicken? And it's like, you only eat for one person. Oh, wait, this is enough for your family. He's like, I eat this by myself in 3 days.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? So.
Yeah, the amount of food we eat, people just look at you and go, God, how long was that last a week? You're like, oh my God.
Especially when you had cod. I would buy 7 pounds on Friday, and it was gone on Monday.
Yeah, yeah. I literally go to the counter at Acme, and it'd be like, steamed lemon? Yep. Yep.
It got to that point, too, because it got hotter, so I started wearing my tank top. I was like, you get ready for a show, ain't you? I was like, yeah. So how much do you need? I was like, damn, they get it like that?
I know, when I did the salmon, pretty much all salmon diet for a while, man, I just go to the counter and they'd be like, 3 to 6 pounds, what do you need? I know somewhere in there, 3 to 6 pounds.
That's so funny, though.
Yeah, it's crazy, man, because most people don't shop like that, you know. It's like they go in and like, oh, we're going to have some steak. They buy a couple steaks, you know, totaling 3 pounds, and that'll last them quite a bit, you know, and we're eating that every day. It's crazy.
Exactly.
It's crazy. Like, you're, yeah, I don't know, I'm lost. So is there anything you want to say to the people listening before we get off of here?
Anything about anything specific?
Anything.
Oh, boy. I don't know. Well, actually, what I was talking to you about in the car on the way here, I was talking about, like, just the mental side of it, of, you know, preparing for a show and dieting, and just the other huge part of it is, like, social media and, like, looking at other people and, you know, just kind of knowing that that is always not real life.
Yeah.
And these people are posting pictures from, like, months, years ago, and it's not, like, all the time, every day. People are not stage lean all the time. And just to, you know, kind of get out of your own head when you're preparing to do this, and trusting your coach, and just being able to know that, you know, you're not going to look super thin all the time. That it's normal for you to, like, you know, put on some pounds, and to just keep your head in the right space to keep going and keep doing what you're working towards.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a hard one for me.
Yeah, I can relate to that, because when, two stories. When I was younger and competing, there wasn't digital cameras where you have instant gratification. There definitely wasn't camera phones like that. So you would take the pictures and then get them developed and send them to your coach, and then they would send you back. So it was a process. You know, you'd have to wait a couple days, which is funny to me, because now if I don't send somebody their diet within a day, oh, I cheated because I didn't have the updates. I'm like, what? So, you know, yeah, I don't even understand. But I would literally sit there, and you would have everybody here dieting a certain way. Well, I always was under the mindset, I'm not going to learn anything if I just work with people in my area, right? So I would always work with people in other areas. So, like, we went to this one show, head judge came up to me and said, you got all the potential in the world, you're just dieting wrong. So, all right, let's see what you got. I hired him. He was in Connecticut, so I drive like 3.5 hours once a week to go see him. And but there was no consistent feedback. It was just kind of like, you look in the mirror, okay, I'm looking a little better, and you see people around here like, man, that diet's not going to work. That diet's not, and people you trust and people you grew up with and people you know, I don't see how that's going to work, because it was different than what they knew, you know. So that becomes very tough. It's because, you know, when you're on Instagram, there's a million different ways that people are telling you to do it. And what I always try and tell people is, there is a million different ways you can do it. What you want is the system that the person controlling it can know how to change it on a dime, no matter what your reaction is. That's what's important. And too often people are concerned with, well, this person looks like this and they're the same amount of weeks out. Recent story, I got back from being sick and I was downsized considerably. I did the Chicago Pro, and there's all these guys posting all these leg shots, and oh my God, they're huge and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna get crushed. Well, I didn't do what I wanted to do, but I just got on stage just to see if I still loved it. And I didn't peak, because at the time I couldn't handle more than 3.5 ounces of protein. So I would do like, literally, and it was really 3.5, I'd do like 4 ounces of protein and get sick. So we were doing 3.5 ounces of protein and making the calories up with carbs, almost no fat. And so I wasn't quite as lean as I'd like to be. And I still ended up 7th. And there were guys that were much larger. than I was. And that's what I also try and tell people. Bodybuilding is not, and when I say bodybuilding, figure, physique, all of it. It's all bodybuilding, right? We're all doing the same thing. It's just a matter of what size we are when we do it. But I tell them all, it's not about how big you are. It's about how your body flows. Because you can have the biggest quads, no arms. Biggest arms, no chest. Like, everything has to be a flow, symmetrical. So that people look at you eventually and go, wow, look at her body. It looks amazing. Not, wow, look at her calves. Wow, look at her delts. You know, it can't be, you know, look at her back. You know, it can't be one thing. It's got to be everything. And when your body encompasses everything, that's when you know you're ready to win, you know. But you're working towards that. And at the local level, you can get away with that because everyone's trying to do the same thing. But at the elite level, that's what it's about. And, you know, so I always tell people, don't worry about the other people. Like, a filter can do amazing things to your body. I'm like posting all these pictures. I'm like, God, man, these guys look awesome. And my training partner at the time, Eddie's like, put a filter on it. I'm like, holy shit, I look really good. I look like I'm contest ready right now, you know? So I went from looking 6 weeks out to contest ready in a filter.
Yeah.
So, you know, social media is what people want you to see. Everyone's struggling. Everybody's questioning. I had Dexter Jackson, who's a legend in our sport, tell me he gets backstage, he still gets nervous. He's still wondering, does he look good enough? He's still wondering, man, I mean, he looked at me when we competed in South Africa together and looks at me and goes, man, how do you think I'm going to do? I'm like, what? You're winning everything. Not even close, you know? I mean, I'm training with Rolly Winkler, and he's like, yeah, you know, I'm just trying to get a little better for this year. And I'm like, dude, you're 5'8", 315 pounds with abs. Like, I don't think there's much growing you need to do. But we never feel big enough. Yeah. You know, ladies never feel like they're small enough. It's just one of those things. That's what makes you drive. Because if you felt like you were there, why would you get up and train? You know, if you felt like, I'm good, what would make you push the envelope to do an hour of cardio, half-hour cardio, 45 minutes of cardio consistently, right? What would make you train consistently? Like, many days I don't feel like training, you know? And so you have to remember the end goal. It's always about the end goal. You know, focus on the end goal, be disciplined enough to see it through to the end goal. And once you do that, that's how you win, right? So, well, that's it for Big Talk this week. Thanks for tuning in. You know, did you want to say something?
Nah.
Did you want to say something? You sure? I feel like you want to say something. No? Did you want to say something?
Nope.
You don't want to add anything?
Nope.
You always got something with you to say.
Man, no, I'm good.
All right, cool. So, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Big Talk. Hope you found something to get inspired by. If you did, like it, ring the bell, subscribe, all that good stuff. Peace.
Is there a bell to ring?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm just making sure. I'm like, ring the bell.
What's
That's
the
a new
bell for?
expression.
So you get